Hello and welcome to your yoga practice. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, and we're about to make it better by moving and sweating and getting nice and stretchy and bendy together. So go ahead and move to your mat, lie down on your back, get nice and comfortable, find your space. Can you switch your phone off? Can you optimize your space so externally so that your internal space can match that? And so I'm a big fan of choosing a place in the house that's consistent, that's a location where you consistently unplug and disconnect. For me, that's this spot right here. My yoga mat is always rolled out there, and so it is a sacred space for me, if you will, a set apart place, and hopefully you are able to also capture a little bit of that in your own life. But if you aren't, if you're on the go, if you are in a new and different place and it feels like the world is going on around you, fear not, because the truth is you can cultivate that within. You can cultivate that with mindfulness. And what I mean by that is imagine you are visiting a beautiful city. Maybe you're visiting Paris, right? I love Paris. It's my favorite city. And so imagine you're visiting Paris and you rent a flat that has a window that's overlooking a beautiful but busy street, right? And so you have this window that is open, and the street noises waft in, and you see the sights and you hear the sounds and you smell the smells of a busy city. But what is also true about that is that you are capable of ignoring that even when the sensations are coming your way. You can choose to pay attention to it, or you can choose to direct your attention to other things. And it doesn't change the fact that those sounds and sights and smells are occurring. It just changes your experience of that thing. And so that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about when I talk about mindfulness, and when I talk about a space that's different, and that you can cultivate a space of stillness and a space of mindfulness and a space of attention. That it doesn't always have to be it doesn't have to always be represented by your physical surroundings, but it does tend to be a little bit easier when your physical surroundings match your internal surroundings. Okay, I hope that made sense. You're on your backs. Let's start with some breathing, and then we're going to move to moving. How about that? All right, so if it's comfortable for you, have your hands on your belly. And you can I like to have my legs bent, but that's only because when my legs are straight, it puts a little bit of undue pressure on my low back. And so if you're the sort of person that has a rear pelvic tilt, it might be a little bit more comfortable for you to have your legs bent. If what I said makes no sense to you, then you probably aren't one of those people. And so you can do whatever you want to with your legs, is my point. Go ahead and have your hands on your belly. And let's start by just closing our eyes and in as much stillness as possible with the rest of our body, just bring our awareness to our breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale it all out. Inhale through the nose. Exhale it all out. And go ahead and take it through 3 or 4 full rounds of breath, and have these exhales be a little bit more explosive. Rather than having it be a long, slow, controlled exhale, just get all the air out of your body. And on this next breath, if it's comfortable for you, we're going to hold it at the top. So inhale, breathe in, fill the lungs, breathe into the belly, and hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, then blow it all out. Let's do that again. Inhale, complete inhale. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, blow it all out. Let's do one more. Inhale, breathe it all in. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, blow it all out. Hug the knees to the chest, gently roll side to side. And so when we are using our breath to upregulate or downregulate or just start to balance our awareness with our body processes, you can use that to your advantage in the sense that if you are wanting to calm down, focus on your exhales. If you are wanting to not calm down, if you're wanting to build some energy, then focus on the inhales, right? I'll focus on the inhales and the holds of the breath. And what's interesting is your body naturally does that. When you are in a state of stress and you're preparing for some fight or flight, think about the last time you had to give a public talk, like doing public speaking. If you don't love public speaking, there's a good chance that you found yourself inhaling too much. There's a good chance you found yourself hyperventilating or filling your lungs and not actually emptying your lungs. And that is an innate response to an external environmental stressor. So how do we fix that? We focus on the exhales. We focus on complete exhales. So the next time you find yourself in a emotionally stressful situation or dreading something, if you find yourself in a fearful situation, let that be a little flag, a little marker to completely exhale, because there's a good chance you're not completely exhaling in that scenario. You might be exhaling 50%, 60%, but if you can completely exhale, then that creates space for the next inhale. And so pay special attention to your breath in moments of stress like that. And one way to train for that, one way to train to remember your breathing practice in moments of stress is to focus on your breathing practice on the yoga mat, because this is a time when you are able to incorporate some perhaps mildly stressful situations and practice that skill of breath awareness. So that's one of the things we're doing here on the yoga mat. All right, if you would, inhale, arms overhead, point the toes to the front. Exhale, hug the knees to the chest. Inhale, arms overhead, reach, extend. Exhale, just the right knee to the chest. See if you can tap your forehead to your knee. So we're rounding the spine here. Inhale, arms overhead, reach. Exhale, left knee to forehead. Inhale, reach, extend. Exhale to the right. Squeezing the knee to the forehead and the forehead to the knee. Inhale, reach, extend. Exhale to the left. Inhale, reach, extend. And we're going to do both knees and start to roll up and down the length of the spine, up to the neck, down to the tailbone, up to the neck, down to the tailbone. And if it's fun and if you want to give it a try, let's try balancing in boat pose on the next roll up. Can you balance on your sit bone, on your tailbone? Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind your back. Pay special attention to your low back. Even though you're rounding your back when you roll back, you want to come into a nice straight neutral spine here in boat pose. You'll notice I have my hands beneath my knees here for this first one. If you want to dial it up a little bit, you can let go of the knees and have the palms up. And if you want to dial it up even more, you can try straightening one leg, straightening the other leg, or straightening both legs. Ooh, that's super challenging. All right, let's do a couple more of these, rolling back and then pausing in boat. Rolling back, pausing in boat. Takes a lot of control, a lot of core stability. Roll it back, pause in boat. Don't forget to breathe. So going from momentum to stillness, being able to control the movement of your body in space. Honestly, this is the essence of any discipline of gymnastics. Not that you're at a gymnastics class, but you know. All right, after you've done a couple more of those, our core is nice and warm. Roll over the ankles and take it back to tabletop. I got my mat all rumpled. All right, back to tabletop here, and let's just keep going with this theme of rounding the spine by taking it through a few rounds of cat-cow. Exhaling to round, inhaling for the back bend, exhaling to round, inhale for the back bend, By the way, just keep going. By the way, another tool that you can start to use that principle of complete exhales in is the next time you're doing a pretty intense cardio workout. So if you're biking, if you're running, if you're rowing, if you're swimming, if you're doing hundreds of double unders at a time, and you notice that your heart rate spikes because it's the end of the workout and you've been doing a lot of intense training and your heart rate is just hammering in your chest, that is an opportunity too, where if you focus on your exhales, focus on complete exhales and see if you can slow the exhale down, and that creates a feedback loop of then also slowing down the inhales and slowing down and increasing the quality, the length, the volume of your inhales. And you'll notice that as you attend to the exhales, the inhales will fall in line. Pretty cool. All right. Come back to a neutral spine, pick up the right heel, press the right foot back behind you, and pick up the left arm, reach the left fingertips forward. Take an inhale, and let's cross the midline, tap the elbow to the knee. Inhale, reach, extend, cross the midline, tap the elbow to your knee. Inhale, reach, extend, exhale, knee to elbow. Let's do one more. Last time, and on the exhale, back to tabletop. You'll notice we're really using our breath to upregulate our system today. Pick up the left foot, press it back behind you. Sorry, I keep kicking my plants. And then pick up the right arm, inhale, reach it forward. Exhale, knee to elbow. With the breath, inhale. Exhale it all out. Take it away on your own time, on your own pace. See if you can use a little bit more speed to the breath as you inhale and as you exhale, rather than slowing it down as much as you possibly can. Can you make this a little bit more energetic, a little bit more explosive? Last time, inhale, extend, and on the exhale, back to tabletop. All right, so from tabletop, just take some little neck rolls here. And maybe your rib cage can follow suit. Find some rotation, some side-to-side movement, some shoulder rolls. Maybe you can take some little ocean waves, so like you're tucking your tailbone under and then your vertebrae follow suit. All right, bring the big toes to touch, settle it back to child's pose, and reach the arms forward. Palms are on the mat, elbows are straight, but don't relax the elbows into the earth. What I want you to do is I want you to do some of these child's pose shoulder lift-offs. So we're using these to activate the muscles between the shoulder blades. Yes, it is also a hip opener. Yes, it is a grounded pose, but it's not so much of a resting pose as you ordinarily would think of for child's pose. So have the forehead on the mat. And then ever so slightly, even just an inch off the ground, pick up the right hand. So really active in the shoulder and set it back down. Left hand, pick it up, set it back down. Try not to twist from the waist or do any other helping from the midline or from any other muscles in the body other than the arm, the shoulder, and where it ties into the shoulder blade, where it connects with your body. Right, left, right, left. We're just waking up those muscles between the shoulder blades. All right, press the palms into the earth. Take it back to tabletop. Curl the toes under. Shift the body weight back into the balls of the feet. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips. Take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal one foot, then the other. Heels to the earth. Just like you're kneading the earth beneath your heels. All right, from downward facing dog, we're going to keep going with a little bit of core work here. So I want you to bend the knees like you're going into tabletop, but make it a hovering tabletop. So have the knees 1 inch off the mat. So your shoulders are over your wrists, your hips are over your knees, but you're not putting any weight in the knees. Take an inhale, downward facing dog on the exhale. Let's do a few more of these. Inhale, floating tabletop, downward facing dog. All right, glance up at the hands, walk the feet forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Bring your hands to your shins, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Let's keep warming up our shoulders with some shoulder squeezes. So as you're standing here, have your feet hip distance apart, tuck your elbows into your waist, palms up. And just standing here, draw the hands out to the sides. Keep the palms up. And so you're still in an external rotation, but as the shoulders rotate, you should feel that activation in the upper back here. As you squeeze the shoulder blades together, should feel really nice to also get your shoulders in that right seated position so that the shoulders don't roll forward. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. You've still got your feet beneath your hips, and so let's do some skier breaths here to keep warming the body, using our breath to upregulate. Inhale as the arms are overhead. Exhale as you swing the arms behind you, bend the hips, bend the knees, just like you're skiing down a mountain. 8 more. 7 more. 6 more. 5 more. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. And on the next inhale, bring the arms overhead, coming into chair pose. You can have your feet hip distance apart, or you can have them together. I've got my feet hip distance apart here in basically a quarter squat. The elbows are straight, palms facing each other. Again, activate those muscles between the shoulder blades. Gaze is forward. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Some half sun salutations here at the top of the mat. It's up to you what you do with your feet. You could have them together, toes, heels touching, or you could have your feet wide beneath your hips. We're just going to do some half sun salutations. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Again, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, reach the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. One more half sun salutation. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, we're going to continue with half sun salutations, but we're going to add a little back bend, a little standing back bend where we take the cactus arms and squeeze the shoulder blades together behind us. It's a standing back bend, and so don't feel like you need to be able to just like be like Gumby and fold yourself in half. You don't have to look at the wall behind you. You might just look up at the sky, but the idea here is that you want the sternum to open up toward the sky, the upper back here, and so it's not just about dumping the belly forward, it's also about opening up in the upper spine here, the one that could really use some back bending. We will do that standing back bend at the beginning, at the end of this half sun salutation. Here we go. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, standing back bend. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, everything into alignment, arms overhead. Exhale, standing back bend. Inhale, back to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Very nice. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale, standing back bend. Inhale. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, reach. Exhale, standing back bend. Inhale, everything back to center. Everything hands to heart center. Okay, so we're going to do basically that same thing again, but this time instead of cactus arms with your arms down by your sides, if you want to try placing your hands at your low back, honestly, it's more for support. And so if the standing back bend is bothersome for your low back, you might try placing your hands on your low back for support during that standing back bend. It's just a nice variation. Here we go. I'll demo that. Obviously, you can do either one. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, standing back bend. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, standing back bend. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Did we like that? Let's do that again. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, standing back bend. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, standing back bend. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step your feet hip distance apart, all angle to you. Have the body weight in the heels, and we're going to sink into a low, low squat. So this is our first squat of the day, so feel free to do a little bit of rocking back and forth. Feel free to work your way into it, too, by the way. You don't have to just hang out in the squat the entire time. If you want to try bending and straightening the legs as you sink perhaps even a little bit lower into the squat. If you want to hook your elbows inside your knees and your hands at heart center, that's sometimes a really nice way to stabilize the arms. Or you could even try planting one hand and the other in this low squat here. Just work your way into it, nice and organic. If you're feeling particularly zesty, you can try doing what I'm doing. This is just a little internal rotation play with the squat. All right. Stand all the way up. Shake the legs out just for a moment. All right. Come on back to the top of the mat if you wandered. And have the right foot on the edge of the mat. Just step the left foot back. Have the hands inside that front foot. And let's take it through a few little knee circles here. Nice deep breaths. And just for funsies, rather than just switching from right to left or switching sides using a plank and a flow, can you turn to your left, keep turning to your left, and take it into a lunge. Now you're facing the back of the mat. Don't worry, if that was confusing, we'll go back the way we came in just a few moments. All right, walk your hands back over to the right foot. So good. Few little knee circles here. I'm actually framing my front foot with my hands now, getting a little bit more neutral with this front foot. and also exploring a little forward and backward motion with the knee, so you might give that a try here. Let's move with breath. Inhale as the front knee is over the front ankle. Exhale into that hamstring. That's really nice. Rebend that front knee, and let's walk our hands back over to the back of the mat again. Hands frame that front foot, that left foot now, and let's flow forward and backward with our breath, bending the knee and then straightening it. All right, let's walk our hands back one more time to the front. Plant the hands, step it back to plank, and let's take it through a flow. Lower all the way to the earth. Hands beneath the shoulders. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, chin back down. Again, inhale, cobra. Exhale, chin back down. Last time, inhale, cobra. Downward facing dog on the exhale. All right, so kind of like we did in child's pose where we were doing those lift-offs, can you do some of those same little lift-offs, picking up one hand and the other here in downward facing dog? And once again, you're trying not to wiggle the rest of your body that much. Try to stay stable. Try to maintain core tension. And so we're staying nice and stable from the belly here. All right, inhale forward to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Inhale for crescent lunge, soft bend in the back knee. Exhale for warrior two. Flip the left palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior, gaze goes up. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, big circle, the hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Obviously, you are in charge of how and when and to what degree you flow. So I just took a chaturanga up dog. You can skip it. You can take cobra. This is your practice. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Inhale for crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Flip the left palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior, gaze goes up. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, circle the hands. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Glance up at the hands, walk, step or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Pause for a moment here. You could have your hands at heart center, or you could float your hands down by your sides, coming into mountain pose. But just take a moment here to still the body. Pay special attention to the exhales. Remember what we were talking about. Complete exhales will slow your breathing, slow your heart rate, and down-regulate your system faster. Give that a try. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, knee to nose, or maybe even knee to forehead, rounding the spine. Inhale, lift the right leg again. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lift that right leg. Exhale, knee across to the opposite elbow. Woo. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Crescent lunge on the inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. Now straighten the right front leg, reach the right fingertips forward, and on the exhale, take it into triangle pose. You could stay in traditional triangle pose like this, or you could try flipping the palm and drawing the arm up overhead in an external rotation, extended triangle pose. Gaze goes up. Stay for the inhale. And on the exhale, rebend that front knee. Circle the left hand to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Let's do the left side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee to nose, maybe even knee to forehead. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Stay lifted if you can. Inhale, lift the left leg. Last time. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Inhale, rise for crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten the left front leg. Reach the left fingertips forward toward the front. Exhale, triangle pose. Just like on the other side, you can stay with a traditional triangle pose here, or you could try flipping your palm and drawing the arm up overhead toward the ear, bicep to ear. It's like you could high five the floor. Extended triangle pose. You should feel a nice stretch down the right side waist. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, circle the hand to the earth, rebend the front knee, step it back to plank. Optional flow. Glance up at the hands, walk, step or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold, toes, heels touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take it through 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 complete exhales. Experiment with that complete exhale, that satisfying exhale. Observe the changes you can bring about just through breathing. What an amazing tool it is. Let's take it through Sun Salutation B. Step your feet together so toes, heels touch. It starts with chair pose. Inhale, arms overhead, chair pose. Settle the tailbone back. We're going to stay for a full round of breath. Stay for the next inhale. And on the exhale, fold forward over the legs. Now you can straighten up the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Your choice of flow. Follow your breath. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Now spin the back heel down, and you might even take a little heel toe off to the right with the right foot because you want to have a wider stance with your 2 feet. It's not on a clothesline the way Warrior 2 is. It's on train tracks. All right, so bring the arms overhead. Shoulders are over the hips. Now keep drawing that left hip forward. Right, so it's like your hips are like the headlights of a car. They're square with the front of the mat. Can you, if this is really comfortable for you, can you seal your palms toward one another, finding even more openness in the shoulders? Take an inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow.
2 breaths in downward facing dog. Pay attention to those exhales. Inhale, lift the left leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Again, spin the back heel down, find some space from right to left. Inhale for warrior one. Elbows are straight, palms facing each other. Soften the lower ribs down toward the earth as you draw that right hip forward. Hips are square with the front of the mat. Take another inhale. Maybe you can seal your palms toward one another. Find lift in the upper back here. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Glance up at the hands. Walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat. Forward, hold, fold, toes, heels touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Don't forget, the way we started is the way we end. Chair pose. Elbows are straight, palms facing each other. Can you settle the tailbone even lower? Stay for another inhale. And on the exhale, stand, hands to heart center. Take it through 5 full rounds of breath. Complete exhales. Notice how it feels to let go of the breath. Even and especially in a moment where it's tempting to grab hold, it's tempting to try to white knuckle it, it's tempting to try to hold your breath. What you really actually need is to release the breath, to make space for the next round of inhale. And isn't that true of so many things in life, is that the thing that we most need is frequently, or the thing that would be best for us is frequently the thing that we least want to do. The conversation that we need to have is the last conversation that we want. The course of action, the getting out of bed, the going to the workout, the going to class, the opening the book, the taking on the course of study. All of those things, generally speaking, where growth is to be found, where meaning is to be found, is exactly where you don't want to look, is exactly what you don't want to try. And I think there's a really important lesson in that. And your ability to get more comfortable with discomfort will directly impact your growth and your freedom, and your ability to face the things that life sends your way. All right, I think your breathing is probably back to normal. Mine is from the top of the mat. Shift all of your body weight to your left foot and bring the right knee up in line with the hip. You can have the hands facing forward just for a moment here. Establish your balance. Establish your foundation. Hips, shoulders level with the earth. Inhale, arms overhead. And on the exhale, standing figure 4. You know, I've got my hands at heart center for this one. But you also have the option in a standing figure 4 to bring the arms overhead, a little bit more challenging for the shoulders and the upper back, but it's nice training for that chair pose, for downward facing dog, for handstands, for anything in that overhead pressing position, building that length, building that flexibility in the shoulders, the upper back is a worthwhile course of action. Inhale, arms overhead, knee up in line with hip. Exhale, everything down. Other side. Bring the left knee up in line with the hip, and at this point, you can do the arms overhead. You can do the hands at the hips, hands at heart center, really whatever you would like to do with your arms. And on the exhale, standing figure 4. Sink a little bit lower. Can you fight for that height through the chest even as you sink toward the earth with the leg? Lots going on. Upward motion and downward motion. Inhale, back up to standing, knee up in line with hip. Exhale, everything down. All right, step your feet slightly wider than hip distance apart. Let's sink into another squat here. And just bring your hands your elbows inside the knees and gently sink side to side. Since this is a worthwhile pursuit, if you've ever tried crow pose, then we're going to work that into our practice today. If you've never tried crow pose, then this is a great day to maybe give it a try. What do you have to lose, right? You're probably in your living room. Nobody's watching you. All right, so crow pose is an arm balance, and it's a really great entry point to the world of arm balancing because the stakes are really low. The worst thing that happens is that you fall over, and you're not going to, like, kick over a piece of furniture or break your neck. I'm pretty sure nobody breaks their neck when they fall over, though, so I feel like that's just such a myth. All right, so in crow pose, your hands are shoulder width apart. And the idea here is that you want to sink really, really low into in between your knees here so that your upper body is down as close to the earth as possible. Now, can you make contact between your knees and your upper arms, right? And so there's a scissoring together motion between the knees so that you're clamping using your inner thighs to clamp toward one another as you maintain that structure with the shoulders here. All right, and so as you shift some body weight forward onto the hands, can you pick one foot off the mat? Can you pick the other foot off the mat? Find just a little, even a moment of balance is worthwhile. And then sink back into it. Maybe you straighten up the legs, straighten up the knees, give them a little shake, and then let's try it again. Can you pick one foot off the earth, pick the other foot off the earth? Very nice. And then go ahead and stand up. Shake the legs out. Crow pose. We don't always make it into crow pose in our practice, so that's kind of a fun and different thing to try. Come on back to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it through a flow. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Now keep the left hand grounded and inhale, reach the right fingertips toward the sky, coming into a revolved side angle. And maybe you can wrap the right arm around the backside waist here. Maybe sink the back knee toward the earth, uncurl the back toes. All right, curl the back toes under again. Press that left hand into the earth directly beneath the left shoulder. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up toward the sky. Can you step it back into a side plank and hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Circle the hand to the earth. Take it through a flow. Back to the exhales. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Keep that right hand on the earth. Inhale, reach the right fingertips to the sky. And if you want to find the wrap around the backside waist, if you want to lower the back knee to the earth. curl the back toes under, energize that back foot, reach the left fingertips up toward the sky, and if you did so on the other side, see if you can step it back to a side plank for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Circle it through a flow. Lower the knees to the earth. Have the knees and the feet together this time. Have your forehead on the mat and reach the arms back behind you now. This is like the most restful of all the child poses. Relax your head, relax your neck, relax your jaw. All right, come back up to tabletop. Pick up your right foot, step it forward again, and this time heel toe the right foot off to the left and lay the shin down. The knee to the right, foot off to the left. You will hear people say sometimes that your shin should be parallel with the top of the mat, but not everyone has the hip flexibility to make that the standard in the beginning, and if you make that the standard, then you might borrow flexibility from your knee, which can result in an injury. And so don't just automatically default to thinking, oh, I should have the shin parallel with the top of the mat. Your knee should feel like it is not compromised in this pose. And so as your knee is off to the side, if you feel any like pinching or stretching in the knee, change the angle of your leg so that this is about the outer hip. So you're feeling that stretch here in the glute. And then with your hands propped up or with your elbows on the earth, relax the head, relax the neck. Pigeon pose. For some people, this is more about the hip, and for some people, it's more about the hip flexor. And so, if you feel this more in your hip flexor of the leg that is back, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it right. It's just that's what is getting most benefit today from this. Yay! All right, before just going into it on the other side, can you roll onto your right hip and supporting yourself with your hands, draw your left leg forward? If that is not accessible for you, then come out of it a way that is accessible for you, because I don't want you to like do something uncomfortable or awkward and hurt yourself while you're moving. But from pigeon, the idea here is that you're going to bring your left leg forward into now a hamstring stretch. And so you've got your right leg still bent, just like it was in pigeon, so that didn't change. This time the arms are going overhead. You're going to square the shoulders over the left leg, and on the exhale, fold forward and down over the left leg. Just like we used our breath to downregulate our heart rate and our breathing rate and our energy level, you can also use your breath, once again, particularly the exhale, to release any of that tension in a stretch, and also to perhaps sink a little bit deeper into a stretch, because quite literally your body shrinks ever so slightly with the exhale because there's less oxygen in your body, there's less space with your diaphragm, and so particularly with a forward fold, you might find that you can move a little bit deeper into a forward fold like this with the exhales. All right, slowly release, and we're going to do a similar floor transition to pigeon on the left side now, and so straighten up the right leg, bend the left leg, and now shift your body weight over to the left leg and swing the right leg around behind you. Once again, if that is like a super awkward transition for you, don't just attempt it because I did. Every body is different, everyone's joints and anatomy are different, and so if even transitions should be taken on mindfully. Pigeon. All right, here we are in pigeon again. Just like on the other side, pay special attention to your knee. Don't just expect that the same level or modification is right for one side as for the other. It's not uncommon to have differences in flexibility between your two sides. We try to correct those with practices like yoga, but life happens, and I don't know what you've been up to in life, and I don't know what your habits are, and I don't know how you sit and what shapes you put yourself in and what you do for work and what you do for hobbies. And if you find yourself doing lots of asymmetrical things, sports, pastimes, if you carry a bag or a child on one side and not the other, then there's a good chance you will have differences in strength or flexibility between your two sides. And so pay attention to that. Don't just go on autopilot. Let's take it through that same seated transition to bring the right leg back forward for your hamstring stretch now. So right leg is now straight, left is bent, just like it was during pigeon pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Square the shoulders over the right leg, and on the exhale, fold forward and down over the right leg. All right, let's slowly come on out of it. So good. Go ahead and lie down on your back. Make your way into whatever reclined resting position is calling to you today. If you want to lie on one side, if you want to lie on your back, if you want to take a seated Shavasana, a face down Shavasana, take any resting pose that works for you today. Be here for a few moments. Shavasana. And slowly begin to reawaken the body. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles. Reach the arms overhead toward the back. Point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes and everything in between. And on the exhale, roll over to the right side. And when you are ready, press the earth away. Make your way back up to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Lightly rest your hands on your knees. Close your eyes when you get there. I hope you learned something today. I hope you learned something about yourself, about the world, about how you show up, about what you can do. That's really what this is about. It's a place to learn, a place to grow. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice.
Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Thanks for joining me.